Hey, this is Mitch over at IndySoft. I hope you're all doing well. It's Tip Tuesday, so we're certainly going to be bringing you a new tip this week. But before I jump into that, I just want to say thank you. This week we're actually celebrating our 150th anniversary for creating Tip Tuesday videos. So it's kind of a neat thing that we've been doing for the last 3 years, and we're continuing to do so moving forward. And we just really appreciate all of our customers tuning in, watching these, giving us feedback, recommendations on what to make videos and content about. So we really appreciate you all. So just thought I'd take a moment to share that with you, that we're kind of excited because this is our 150th Tip Tuesday. So let's move on to the tip itself. So this week I actually want to show you well, let me give you the use case on it. I want to show you a utility or a tool in the software that we can set up that is applicable to your test point grids, or what we actually call, your test point templates, which, if you're not familiar with that, that's actually just the columns that we're looking at here. So when I look at this particular one, this is my UK default. You can see I've got my description, my standard, my tolerance, my resolution, and then I have the deviation column, okay? But let's hypothetically say that I want to switch over because I'm looking at a pressure gauge. Let's pull up this one here that I'm calling my UK pressure, right? Well, now it shows me a column for counts, right? Or again, if I was looking at torque, I might have one for a formula or averaging or something like that. But the concept is, in the software, we let you create these multiple different test point grids, or again, what we call templates, okay? So now let's go to the use case on this tip. Let's say we have a situation where we have a location in the United Kingdom, and then we have a location in, let's say, in the US or North America. Well, each facility may have a desire to create their grids slightly different, right? Like, you may have one facility that's accredited, so you have to add in certain columns. You may have one facility that's not, so you don't need those columns. But most importantly, we want to put safeguards in the software that doesn't let each other overwrite these respective grids, okay? So the concept there is again, let's say that I'm inside of, and I'm going to move my video here for a second, but I'm looking at my ABC company UK here. If, let's say, I were to pull up my standard ABC company or customer here in the database. So when I open this up, it takes me to, there's my item, here's my test points. Now what I'm looking at is my default grid here, okay? Now what we have in the software is let's say that I were to go in and I was going to customize these columns, right? We all know we can just right click in any grid and then we can add columns in. So hypothetically, let's say we just want to add accuracy in, right? Which obviously would be applicable for something like a pipette or multiple other instrument types. But let's say I put that in. So if I were to go in and save this, I just saved that column change for every piece of equipment that is looking at that default grid, right? So that could be a bad thing if you have another laboratory or location that's expecting to see that grid in a different way. So what we let you do actually is, when you go to put your companies or into the database itself, right? You're going to see in here you have your add edit companies. You can see I've got my ABC UK company, I've got my ABC Inc. company. Let's use this one as my example. Let's take a look at the ABC UK, okay? Well, one of the things that we let you do here under this custom section is you can actually add in what we call variables. Now, these variables could be custom fields, they could be components like I'm about to show you, or like triggers that will do a certain value, or just a script essentially, okay? But we actually have something in here called TP edit prefix, okay? And I'm going to type that in just like this. And what this is there's a little bit of section of code in the software that's going to force us to, when we create new grids, if we are looking at the ABC UK company, it's going to force us to actually utilize a prefix on our grids. And what it's going to do is prevent us from overriding or modifying other existing grids in the software. So I'm in reference here to my UK company, so I'm just going to put a text value of UK. Okay, that's all we have to do is put a 2-character text in here of what we want that to be. So if it's in North America, we could do NA, or if it's in China, we may want to do CA, or etc. But I'm putting in this variable name called TP underscore edit prefix, just like this. And I'm basically saying I want to do my prefix of UK. Okay, so by adding that into the system, now what happens is I'm going to go ahead and close out on my add edit company. Let's go pull up a piece of equipment that belongs to my ABC UK company. Okay, so I'm going to pull up item, PG601. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my standard default grid. And what's going to happen now is, let's say that I try to modify this. Let's say I try to come in here and right click, customize these grid fields, and let's say I just want to add in as found text as a total example. Now it adds that in, but when I go to hit save, what the software is going to let me do, or what's going to let me know, is it's going to say, hey, I don't have the rights now to modify this test point grid because this particular grid doesn't have the prefix of UK. Okay, so now in mine, I've already got one in here set up that I created earlier. This was UK default. This is an example, but let's do another one. Let's actually go in, and I'm going to create a brand new test point template now. And when we do that, you see how it pre-assigns that prefix for us? So let's just put this in as default 2 as a total example. Well, now when I hit OK, now I've just created this UK default 2 prefix, okay, and in this grid. So essentially what this utility is doing is it's letting my company of the IndySoft, or excuse me, ABC company UK, we can create grids that are specific to only us. We can still view any other grids that are in the software, but now we're prevented from modifying them. So it's kind of a safety, or a kind of a catch guard to keep your system set up properly. So when we do this, again, the way we set that up is inside of Add Edit Company, we just go in here, pull up the companies. What we're going to do in here is we'll navigate to the company in which we want to add this in. So let's say I want to go and do it for my ABC Inc. company. Let's say that's the one that's in North America. Again, same concept as before. I'll go to my custom info. I'm going to add in this variable name, which is TP edit prefix, and you got to enter it in just like I did there, TP _edit _ prefix. And let's say I want these grids to be for North America, so I'm just going to put in NA, or you may want to do something like US, either way. But when I hit OK now if I were to pull up a piece of equipment or be inside of my ABC company, my North American ABC company, I wouldn't be able to create test point grids now unless they had that prefix of US, because that's what I created there. So just to go illustrate that, let's go pull up a piece of equipment here that belongs to my ABC North America company, and let's try to create a new one, or let's try to modify default. So if I try to modify default, and I'll just go in here and add in another, we'll just add in, applied value resolution. This is an example. If I try to save that, it's going to let me know I can't do that because I don't have that US prefix, okay? So again, if I were to create a new one based off of this, I'll just create a new one, and it's going to assign that US prefix. And let's just say this is my US default 2, just as a total example. But now I could go in here and save this. So if I wanted to go in and save, it'll allow me to do such. So it's a way to have these test point grids specific to one location in the database, or even if you're a commercial lab, one laboratory, right? You may have a commercial lab where you have several different servicing locations, and you may each need to have the ability to create your own grids the way you desire. This utility, or this system variable, is option for you to use to handle that scenario. So just to illustrate it kind of from I don't know, all the way through, I had a couple of those set up under my ABC UK company. So here's my pressure gauge. This is an example for pressure gauges. I may have the desire to have a column for like counts, right? So this is a good example of where I've got my UK pressure gauges, test point template. So you'll see I've got that counts column. But let's go in and say we were looking at a torque wrench. I think in here I've got a torque wrench set up here, where with my torque wrench items, I may want to have, or my torque items, I may desire to have like a particular grid where I'm just exposing like a formula column, and you can see I've got a real simple formula in there. But again, the concept there being is like different types of equipment are going to require different types of grids, and then based on your locations, you may want those grids to be set up slightly different as well. So this tool is this video is really just to show you this is kind of an advanced feature in the software that can handle a very specific scenario when you have multiple locations, and you also need to control who can update and overwrite these test point grids. But it is a safety tool or a safety measure that's in the software. If you've got multiple locations, multiple service centers, or multiple laboratories, this can definitely benefit you and help you out. We've got this designed in a way where you can still use other locations' grids We just have this set up where you can't overwrite their grids. You can only overwrite your own grids, was kind of the utility and the purpose behind this. So I know it's a long video. It's also a kind of a very specific tool for those customers that have multiple locations, but it's something that can really help you maintain and manage these test point grids, because the last thing you want to have happen is a particular user overwrite a data sheet set up, because that can get into a compliance issue or quality issue. So I hope this video helps. Definitely kind of a hidden feature in the software. Any questions surrounding this, please do not hesitate to give myself a call or give our support team a call. And just to show you real quick on screen one more time to close this out, what it looks like to set this up is you just go into your add edit company, go into the custom info. You're going to go down here and you're going to create a global variable for this company, and the very specific entry on that needs to be TP_edit_prefix, and then you just go ahead and key in that 2-character prefix you desire to use. So in any case, I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. I really appreciate you hanging in with me on this one. I know it's a long video. Also, we really, again, just want to celebrate and appreciate all of your participation in our Tip Tuesday videos, and it's been a great milestone to reach this 150th video. So hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon.